I'd like to preface this by saying that I love R.F. Kuang and think she's a genius. However, this book did miss the mark and didn't live up to its full potential. Katabasis follows two PhD students who must travel to Hell to rescue their research advisor. This plot was very Rebecca coded, so I thought it was going to be a banger, especially since she's already written an academically focused fantasy book before, which was exceptional and one of the best books I've ever read. While Kuang nailed the academic aspects of Katabasis, the book did miss the mark in terms of storytelling and plot construction. Most aspects of this book were underdeveloped and underexplained. My biggest grievance is with the descriptions, or the lack thereof. One of the characters was described as having scarecrow limbs and bird nest hair, and outside of that, we don't really learn anything else about their physical appearance. It's hard to connect to the characters when you can't picture them in your mind's eye. In contrast, I thought the descriptions of Hell were really well done. We were introduced to several different theories on the structure of Hell and its various rings, and we learned even more about the layout as the story progressed. There was always an air of mystery surrounding where things were located, which made sense given that most of what we know about Hell is speculative and based on ancient first-hand accounts. I loved how messy Alice was as a character. She was unabashed, unapologetic, and gleefully ready to sacrifice anything to further her academic career. She was extremely unlikable, and that was kind of the point. The backstories placed strategically throughout the plot helped us understand her more as a character, especially when looking at who she was in Hell and how she got there. For contrast, Peter was the moral compass of this story. He was constantly questioning the validity of their journey and whether the cost of going to Hell was worth the end goal. In a way, Peter was the yang to Alice's yin. I also really enjoyed how Hell felt tailored to them specifically, how each ring was academically focused, and everyone present was a scholar of some sort. This leaned into the theory of a personal hell, and it made me wonder, does hell change depending on who you are? Are there different hells for different types of people? Or is each hell tailored to the individual? I really enjoyed the in-between moments in this book, particularly Alice's character development, to realizing that there's a life to live outside of it. She came to understand that there's more to life than notoriety, or the number of research papers you publish in academic journals. While Alice underwent great character development, other characters did not. Some of the characters felt like conveniently placed obstacles, or guides to push the plot forward, than organic parts of the story. The plot as a whole lacked structure. Because Alice and Peter weren't dead, they didn't have to follow the same rules as Hell's other occupants. I think it would have been a lot more entertaining if they also had to solve riddles, or complete trials, to move from one ring of Hell to another. This lack of challenge made their journey through Hell kind of stale and boring. The magic system could have been explained better. In this world, magic chalk is used to draw pentagrams, which is how magic is accessed and utilized. However, outside of academic purposes, we never really learn how this magic is used by the general population. There's a brief mention of people who can't hack it in academia going private, but what does that look like? What's the point of this magic system? I wish this story explored this further. I enjoyed the romance subplot, but I wish it had given just a little bit more. It felt surface level, probably because we were constantly being told how the characters felt instead of being shown. I think the payoff at the end was satisfying, but it didn't change my brain chemistry by any means. If the plot had been more developed and the story shown to us rather than told, I think this could have been a 5 out of 5 banger. However, because the plot was underdeveloped and the descriptions were lacking, I couldn't fully immerse myself in the story. Thank you so much to Harper Voyager for gifting me a copy of this book ahead of its official release.